Oh yeah.
And we back.
And
And we
we
back.
back, and we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. Yeah! And we back. Thinking Out Loud Podcast. It's your boy Jay Lip, TOLPcast.com. You already know what this is. You know who I am. Tonight we got the big boy, the big bro, the homie in the building. TheyCSmith, what's good, baby?
What's going on with you?
And we back.
Blessed and highly favored. Appreciate you being on with us. And Mrs.LIP, how you?
I'm doing good, doing good.
All right, let's get straight into the shit. We know time is limited, so let's dive in. First and foremost, we want to make sure that we give all acknowledgement, prayer, and condolences to those that are affected by the murder of, I believe the pronunciation is Botham Jean. I'm not sure which is which, but we all know who we're talking about. And the murderous police officer, Amber Geyer, who took this young man's life while he was sitting in his own crib. We definitely want to say again condolences to that. But for the intent of the podcast, what do y'all feel about the suspiciousness behind the backstory and the conditions of which they're alleging this incident occurred? Because I'm hearing multiple stories, I'm hearing multiple angles, and I want to know what y'all think.
Well, why don't
Uh,
we give people a little bit of a backstory first in case they haven't heard it?
The quick backstory is a man was at the crib. Uh, Off-duty police officer getting off her shift said she came to the wrong residence. Thought it was hers. Door was ajar. She came in, saw a shadowy figure, let off warning shots, which were ultimately deadly shots into the victim, and that's basically what her side of the story was. The side that I think the people would recognize as being true is that a man was murdered in his own home, and that's all that needs to be said. He posed no threat, and he was black. So, with that being said, what do y'all think? Are we believing the story that they're giving from the police angle, or are we siding with the fact that this was something malicious intent involved? What y'all feel?
I off rip already knew it was some bullshit, but now they had one of their friends that knew them, or a lady that lived at the apartment. She showed that the door can never be ajar at their apartment complex.
I saw
She
that.
gave she gave an example of the door being left wide open and it closes and shuts all the way. It doesn't like it slams, so the door can never be ajar. Plus, she showed another. I think she showed like pictures of them all together. So the victim and the police officer knew each other. So I think they had a relationship. It went south. She killed them, cold blooded. Cause ain't no, I don't care. Even if you fucking drunk, you're not gonna make that mistake. You know where the fuck you live.
Right.
Mrs. Lip?
Yeah, I knew the story was a bit fishy when I first heard it because their excuse was she got off on the wrong floor in the parking garage and thought she was at her building. I've been in buildings where you get onto your floor from a parking garage and there's nothing but signage that tells you what floor you're on, which way to these certain apartments. Like you know where you're going if you're paying any amount of attention. And it's very, very hard to believe that she thought she was in the wrong apartment, that the door was open. She stepped in and just started shooting. Because especially if you just see a shadowy figure, you don't recognize any of the furniture, any of the decorations. Like none of this really pieces together. Even if you're getting off of work completely exhausted, you don't walk into a building basically with your gun drawn ready to shoot somebody because you're so tired that you can't recognize your own apartment.
I agree, and I think there's something to be said too about the fact that there was another resident that had reported that this police officer had made noise complaints about the tenant above her. So the tenant, the victim, was above her directly, and there was some reports that there was some noise complaints made. So in my mind, it would make more sense that she may have went there, gun cocked and loaded to intimidate, the
Hmm.
victim, basically, like turn that shit down or whatever you're doing, or maybe it's a mixture of that and what Smith was referring to, or maybe it's a lover scorned, and she may have heard the knocking of the headboard or something that got her triggered, and then she
Right.
she pulled the trigger. So with that being said, I think we all agree that the shit's not making sense from what's being reported to us. However, the same old line of wait until all the facts are out and we don't know what happened, we weren't there. Damn it, I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of people saying let's just
Yeah.
wait and see
Ain't
because
no way.
The wait and see time is the let's clean up the shit. Let's get a good
Yes,
alibi.
give
Let's
some
let's
more
put our
time.
story. Let's line up our stories right so we can protect our own. So with that being
And
said, we ain't gonna give
and
too
why,
much.
one more point? Why did they have a search warrant for his apartment? So what? He had fucking weed. She fucking shot and killed him.
Right.
Him having weed has nothing to do with nothing.
It's a crime scene. This is not a and if and with it being a crime scene, they shouldn't need a search warrant for his place.
That's
Like,
how
what
I
are
know
you
that didn't
looking
make
for? This
sense.
is a crime scene. You should just be able to
Can't
go in and
justify can't justify her mistakenly killing him.
right.
So what? He had drugs. It don't matter what he had in there.
Not at
Right.
She
all.
thought it was her apartment.
Not at all. Yeah, you know what? You both are right. When have we seen a crime scene be searched for some type of probable cause for him to catch the bullets? That's how it sounded to me. Like, why were you
Exactly.
in your apartment at the time when this woman was going to be mistaking your apartment for hers? How dare you be in your apartment when you know you live above somebody who is unstable? So, with that being
Yeah,
said, I want
they
to
gonna get sued.
we're gonna see what happens. Another life loss, another ammunition for the argument against the fact that there is an just an incredible amount of situations that just keep on being reported on and keep on being covered that show black people doing literally nothing, just living. I
Just
mean, I don't see how
existing.
simpler it could have been, and you still are in danger. So, put a nail in that. We just want to give that honor and that rest in peace again to my man, and also we hope that justice is served. But at this point, it's just a hope. That's the way America is right now. Let's keep it moving though. So verses. I want to talk about VERSES versus Eminem, MGK. Everyone should know by now. They've been having a little spat, a little war of words. M dropped the Kamikaze surprise album. MGK responded with a whole ass diss track. Eminem responded to the response with a whole ass diss track. How do we feel about seeing for the first time in hip hop history two white men going at each other in hip hop? A genre of music and a culture that has predominantly been that of the people of color. Go.
I don't know. When MGK first dropped his disc, I was really excited. I'm a huge Eminem fan, have always been, since early albums. So to see the possible resurgence, I don't have any issue with beef. I think it's an opportunity for artists to kind of show what they're really made of and be put on the spot and have to respond. So I was really looking forward to, a good fight. Ultimately other things came out about the situation, but I will say my first reaction was this should be good. I was looking forward to it.
Smith?
Oh yeah, I was impressed by MGK this, First off, he's coming at Eminem. You never heard nobody come at Eminem, especially that disrespectful. So you gotta respect that. This is rap. This is beef, or whatever you want to call it. Like he
No, this is
called him
beef.
out. He
Yeah.
called him out on a lot of stuff that was pretty factual, and a lot of the fans and the hip hop, historians have been saying like, Eminem, where you at? Where you been? And I think Eminem, he came back with a diss track. Me personally, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It didn't wow me like MGK. MGK's wow me because you don't expect nobody to, diss Eminem in
No,
that manner.
and that's a good point. And before I get to where I want to segue with that, I want to know. Well, actually, let me go ahead and jump straight into that. So, off of what you just said, you wouldn't expect somebody to come at M like that. Isn't it a little bit peculiar that you have Eminem giving shine to someone at such a low level like MGK? Because let's be honest, for the past few years, I mean, MGK had a buzz. He had an organic buzz coming from the Midwest, representing um, Cleveland, I believe. And he had a little run. Then his run kind of
Yeah.
died off when it comes to the commercial success. But he's still doing shows, still touring. And then all of a sudden, he comes out with this again, whole ass diss track, 3 verses, a whole hook in a video eating cereal against Eminem. And Eminem decided that it was worthy of an attempt from MGK to be responded to. That's where I draw a little bit of concern. Like, this is MGK. This is a nothing ass nigga to compare to who you are in the game of music and in your legacy.
It's
Like,
not. It's not. it's not who it is, it's the impact it had.
Right.
That
Right.
this had a big impact. I don't care if it was a little pump. He said some stuff that, wrinkled some feathers, whatever the saying is. Like he said some stuff that was you had to say, you had to respond. It don't matter how high or how big or how low you think you are, you got to respond to that. No matter what point in your career, it was disrespectful, and Eminem took his attention away from whatever he was doing to try and get back in his ass.
Yeah.
Pause.
And I think too, Eminem probably was like, it's almost like a fly landing on your shoulder. He's like, what is this? It's annoying me. Let me take care of this real quick, which is not something that's difficult for him to do. Like the response track was not as good as I expected it to be from Eminem, but it was solid and it addressed all the relevant points. And I think ultimately it would have deaded the issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so just so I get a general consensus, who won at this point?
Well, I think MGK won.
Mrs.LIP?
It's David Ingram
Well,
versus Goliath. He
a
can't
little
lose.
birdie told me MGK didn't write his verse.
I saw a screenshot of that as well. So Rap
That's
Genius,
actually false.
correct us then.
Okay.
Well, a producer is always going to be credited on writing just for the simple fact you're giving tips on how to say the wording and all of that. So
Like the
a producer
arrangement.
is also a writer as well. Just because he's on the credits for actually writing don't mean he actually wrote word for word what he said.
Okay, all right. That's the first time I'm hearing that. I mean, I'm curious as to why that
I
wasn't
don't know.
the
I
That's
think
same.
just music 101.
Okay,
it's good.
okay,
It's a
expert.
little bit. Well, I guess I don't know. Maybe I just don't know music as well. It's a little concerning because I listened to MGK when he first came out because he was all over the place. I felt like his rap was solid, but it's surprising to me that he would be able to come out with a diss track that heavy in the amount of time that he did writing it on his own. His music is not that good to be
Well,
able to
what
come out
else?
with a diss track this.
What else he got to focus on? Like him, like Lip said, like he, his buzz went down. So
Yeah.
this is your big moment. So you like, if I make it a clap back at Eminem, this could take my career back to another level. So you
Yeah.
like, let me focus all my energy, muster every little rhyme I ever wrote, and put it in this 3-4 minute song.
One time for the homie Kyle Vincent. What up, though? I gotta also say this too. Let's be honest. This was a win-win situation for MGK. One, he gets credit for going at a goat, and two, he gets credit for the goat responding. So it don't matter if
Right.
MGK did the most trifling shit in the world and Eminem put it on blast. Eminem responded to you. I mean, he responded to you publicly to the world. That means in some way, shape, or form, you were able to affect this man's emotion to put
Eminem
him
did some twice.
right. He
Just
did, but
on the
as
album.
right. So initial, but the diss on the album was a jab. He made Eminem get in the lab and write a whole ass song. So where I feel like MGK won is as far as the attempt of reaching the goal of re-energizing his relevance. However, I will say that Eminem, quite frankly, how can we ever say that he ever lost when this is just child's play for him? Like, what does he gain from tearing down someone who we really wasn't checking for anyway?
Well, he did. The best line in the song is, I built your career up just to end it. Like, that's one of the hardest lines you could
No,
ever
no,
say.
no. The hardest line was when he said, "As long as I'm shady, you'll always be in my shadow." I was like, yikes. Like,
Yeah,
MGK is kind of trying to mimic himself. He kind of a little D-riding when it came to all of the... Half of the song was positive
it
energy.
was
Like, we know you're
it
the
was
best.
passive aggressive.
Exactly. You're the greatest, but why you always hiding? We know you're the best, but we're tired of the sweatpants. Like, come on, my guy. That's why I got to give it to M on this because M
Yeah.
may have to go at apparel. M may have to go at what his lifestyle is. He was just like you.
Well,
A
he
pup.
went at his man bun.
He went at his man bun. All right, cool. But at the end of the day,
Man bun.
M ain't taking no L from this little shit. MGK
And I
is
think ultimately MGK, I don't know that he has the ability to flip this into anything else that's going to progress his career.
He
It's going to be a
has
MGK
flash in the pan.
has
MGK
been
will
dropping
not stop
music.
responding. I promise y'all. I put that on everything. MGK will not stop responding. There will be
No,
another because this
he's
is
not.
what he needs. This is more people have searched for MGK. I bet
This
in the
is
past
this is why
week.
you drop music.
Yep. And let's
It's
and
like trolling, but you got a diss. Like
so,
you got substance this time. It's like what 6ix9ine be doing. He talk shit, and then he drop a song.
no, fuck that. I don't get that. I
MGK
don't
need
get
to
that.
drop a record.
I don't give that. I don't give that pub to 6ix9ine. That fool is just on some trolling shit. And again, with my homie Kyle, he said Eminem is bored. He's just toying with this kid. I agree. M still a go. I believe M is on top when it comes to this battle. Even though he had shots shot at him, it don't mean that he's not the victor. But y'all seem to believe MGK is the winner. I'll let y'all have it 2-1. We'll see in the
No,
coming
no,
days.
I didn't say that.
Oh, I'm
I didn't
sorry.
No,
say.
no, no,
I
no.
don't
That's
think.
not what we said.
I asked who
necessarily.
won. Who won right now? Who's winning?
I think M won hands down because
Okay.
I think it's about more than just two tracks.
Okay.
Personally,
Okay. M1, that's a Mrs.LIP. M1, that's Lip. And then looks like MGK and the cheese stands alone with TheyCSmith.
Hey, he had a better diss track.
All right, we'll get that to you. Now let's talk about people who not keeping it on wax. When we talk about verses, now we're talking about VERSUS. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B. Nicki Minaj has been baiting Cardi B ever since she got a little buzz going for her. More than social media, more than loving hip hop, more than stripping. Ever since she got off the IG platform and went straight to the music and people vibing and they fucking with her. It seems like Nicki Minaj been having subliminals, always talking about she the queen, she the baddest bitch, blah 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 blah, and the numbers are reflecting otherwise when it comes to debut release statistics. When it comes to the fact that with Nicki, her first album, or rather her first week with her album, she came in at number 2, saying that the numbers was lying, saying that you
they're
know
really good.
exactly. Cardi B was killing it with her numbers, with her ratings. So Cardi has always been a person who stayed true. She kept that same energy. She always kept the same energy. The same chick from the block, still ratchet. She will throw them hands. She will throw them heels, whatever she can, and she basically lived her truth this past weekend at the Fashion Week event where her and Nikki attempted to get into it. No blows
Two
were
weeks ago.
Nope, 2 weeks ago. No blows were drawn that were actually connecting with each other than the bodyguard to Cardi, which is crazy in and of itself.
But not.
But this is a situation where it's not even on wax no more. You talking about two people that have been on the same song with Motorsport, the Migos. They was featured on the same song. We consider them both top tier as far as earnings within the female hip hop category. So why is it that with this situation there can only be one female MC number 1 at any given moment? Because that's the way I feel like Nicki Minaj is acting. I feel like she's reducing herself to a
Well,
ratchet level and baiting what she says she's not a part of. What y'all think?
who really started this #1 female shit? Nicki Minaj.
No,
Right.
no, no,
Be
no.
like
Little
that.
Kim did. No.
No,
Number one.
look, Kim didn't do that. They had ladies' night with Missy Elliott, Angie Martinez, man. Everybody
I
was
want to
on
be
that
specific
song.
when I say Little Kim started it with the phrase Queen Bee. Now that's a double entendre. Obviously, a Queen Bee is
Yeah, I
is
mean
the
that was a
leader.
moniker that
But
she
that,
had, and she thought she was the
that was
best,
her
but she didn't
alter
use that
ego.
platform to tear down other people.
Yeah, she never said like
Oh,
"fuck you, bitches." Like she's
Right.
never
Yeah.
said no music, none of that in her music.
slight segue without forgetting. Want to give credit to Smith. Smith is 2-2. Kyle said he agreed with you. He voted for M, and he loved the channel and the content. So appreciate that. But back to these women that are arguing over this hip hop shit. I want to know, why did it escalate to the physicality when that's not something you would expect from two people in two separate lanes of music right now? Two whole parallel paths. The different their audience is different. Their fans are different. Why do they even have to get to a space where they have to fight to show their dominance? Especially considering the gender construct that we currently have in hip hop.
Well, they say it's about she talking about her child. I don't know the backstory on that
There
all the
was
way.
that. There was the fact that there was another artist involved that apparently has slept with Offset, and there's a bunch of that drama. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
why is it escalating to a physical interaction or altercation? What do you think, Mrs. Lip, being a
I
female?
think I think Nicki Minaj is insecure. I think
Mm.
Nicki was having challenges with her career before Cardi got here. Nicki
Boom.
has been on top for several years because she has put out solid product. The product that she's
Can I
has
say that?
not been solid.
Can I say
Mhm.
that? Can I also add to that? She's been on top for years because there's also been no competition. That is
I
something we
think that's
brought up
part of
before.
it. I think that's certainly part of it.
That's number one.
Um, right, and she's feeling insecure now because not only is her product not great. I mean, she did still debut at number 2, which what are you bitching about? But she's feeling insecure that she's not number 1, and now somebody else is coming for that title or whatever. If you want to get scared and back yourself into a corner, the only thing you can then do is attack because you're not focused on putting out quality product. Now you're focused on defending your title or whatever it is. Like, who cares that Cardi B is the one who's winning the BET Awards now? Like, get over yourself
You
and
did
put
it.
out the
She did
product
it
that
for
you're
how many
paying for.
years? She did it for years.
Yeah, she
For
did it for
years.
7, 8 years.
To
When Remy,
2010.
yeah, when Remy was
That's
locked
a
up.
nice-
When Remy was locked up, when Cardi was on IG. But to Mrs.LIP's point, I will say that it seems like it's a reaction out of defensiveness and not focusing on the offense. The offense is you keep doing you keep doing your thing, and that's how Cardi is. So with that
I
being
guess
said, when it
she
comes
been
to a
dropping
versus,
duds for years now.
but when it
Like
comes to a
every
versus of Cardi B versus Nicki, I gotta say I gotta give it to Cardi on this one because
Absolutely.
Cardi is staying consistent. She's like, we could take it there if you want to, but bitch, I'm ready to just do my thing, and I want you to do your thing, and we can both move and get
Right.
this money. Everybody eats, Pete, but Nicki don't want everybody to eat. It's just money
and
making
that's
Nicki.
why she's where she's at now.
Exactly. So we can agree Nikki taking a big ass L. She basically popped a squat and got down in the dirt to wrestle in the mud. Now she crying foul because she getting a little dirty. She looking bad, bruh. She looking bad,
Like
baby.
first off, her album not even better than Cardi's. Like
Nope.
we can all agree to that.
And
It's
Cardi
her
openly saying
album.
that she don't write her shit, and Cardi openly saying
Right.
that she got put on, and that's the same shit Nicki getting at her about. Like, yeah, I write my own. It's like, well, damn,
It don't matter.
if you write your
Maybe
own shit,
you need.
if you write your own shit, and you can't outsell somebody who does it, admittedly, something's wrong with you. You maybe
Maybe
need to
you
get a
need
writer.
some ghostwriters.
Maybe you need some. So that's that with that. All right, and finally, I want to dive just a little toe in the pool, just a little itty bit. I want to talk
A
about
small
this
one.
Cat Williams versus basically every damn poppin' black comedian in the industry right now. Cat Williams recently did an interview where he talked about how unfunny Gerard Carmichael, Lil Rel Howery,
Say that name again.
Gerard Carmichael from the
Okay.
Carmichael Show, Lil Rel Howery from the Carmichael Show and from Get Out, who also has a new show called Relevant. And then most importantly, he started comparing his numbers, which were lies proven on the internet, about how much he outsold tickets and did more than a Monique, did more than Richard Pryor, did more than Eddie Murphy, Kevin Hart.
He's
All these
talking
people.
about Kevin Hart.
He talked
Yeah.
about a plethora of
Tiffany Haddish.
people. And
He
then,
don't like Kevin Hart.
right,
for
and
the fact.
that's fine. But everything that he said, I would have been like, oh, that's just cat. He be high. That nigga, he's still on that shit. But when he get down to talking about Tiffany Haddish, dragging her, talking about, she got a white husband, and then she ain't really funny, and she ratchet, and everybody that's ratchet shouldn't get on, and that's not real funny comedy, blah, blah, blah. She has no content. Well, sorry to tell you, bruh, but she's got a couple of movies that sold and done numbers, and she continues to get scripts, and she continues to get opportunities while you are sitting there as side commentary on a radio show about another man's comedy show. It wasn't even Cat Williams promoting his own shit. He was just there. So, with that being said, how do
How
y'all
did
feel
the
about
question
Cat
come
Williams?
about? I think they asked him.
They
about
asked
the
him
state of comedy.
general ass questions, but in specific terms to close this one out, how do we feel as a culture about Cat Williams? Is he in the sunken place in the inverse where he just hates everybody else that's a black comedian except himself?
Nah, I don't agree with that.
Well, what the
Just,
fuck is wrong with
just
him?
he just voicing his opinion. Like,
Oh, is he thinking out loud?
what?
He need to come to
Is
thinking
it-
out loud.
Am I a hater because I say I don't like something?
No, not at
I
all.
mean, you are though when the things you're
Uh-oh.
saying are untrue.
Well,
Let
when
him
you
know,
said
Mrs.
something
Lip. Let Mrs. Lip cook
caddish,
for
I
a
don't
second,
know
cause
if it was untrue or not.
Mrs. Lip got to cook for a second. So go ahead, explain
No,
that.
I'm because I gotta go. It's time for me
We
to
about to
sign
wrap. We
off. But
about to
what I'm
wrap it
gonna
up.
say is just research your research. That's all I'll say about it. And ultimately, if you have the airtime, focus on yourself rather than everybody else. Don't give your mic away.
Mrs. Lip gave her final
Yeah.
thought. What's your final thought, TheyCSmith? Go. 30
Um,
seconds.
I don't know if they asked him. I don't think he just willingly just said, "Yeah, I don't like this, and this person." I think the question was asked to him. I didn't watch the interview all the way. I just watched the part where him and the host was going at it. That was hilarious.
It was.
Um,
It was.
Cat Williams, he probably feel away because everybody not as grinding as hard for the shit he had to accomplish and achieve. And I guess he feel like shit just getting handed to these new comedians.
Well, you know what? Tonight I got a taste for crab because all I saw was crabs in a barrel when I heard that interview. Cat Williams, step your game up, baby. You better than that. In the meantime, in between time, it's Jay Lip. It's my boy TheyCSmith. It's Mrs. Lip. TOLPcast.com. And we out.
Yeah.
Way out.